What is the idealized value stream? Today's 5 minute short. Hi, I'm Joshua Barnes, and I'm joined by Al Shalloway. And for this section, you know, I know Al is a big proponent of value streams. And so heard Al say countless times how value streams start and end with customers. And there are different types of value streams, but the one thing I can say I have not heard Al mention a lot is the value of value stream mapping. And so, Al, how about you maybe tell us a little bit around why that is and what
Yeah.
alternatives there
Well, I think value stream mapping is excellent and incredibly expensive and not as useful as it used to be. And let me tell you why I've come to that conclusion and what the value stream, the idealized value stream is a way to counter the problem. So in 2006, I think it was 2006, it was at my first lean agile software development workshop. I showed how to do value stream mapping. And then in that workshop, as a result of that, this company, these two participants who went there, they were the manager, project managers, and the director of development of about 100-person development group, went back to their company, and in an hour, doing from the result of the value stream mapping, light mapping we did in the workshop, they saved 20% of 20% effort of 100-person organization in development. Now, that's a huge savings, 1 hour result of it, because the value stream mapping I'd identified that the real problem was in another area of the organization than they had thought. Well, I love value stream mapping immediately, of course. I thought it was great before, but that was really one of the kind of miracles I have done. I haven't done that many, but that was one of them. And I've written this up too as a case study. I'll put it in the comments. But then I really use value stream mapping in other places. I remember going to a place where they had actually Jeff Sutherland had come in. They were doing Scrum really well. They were doing good product management, but they couldn't get things delivered. And that was like a 1 + 1 = 1. I mean, why was this not happening? And we did value stream mapping on it because I couldn't understand what they were saying when they were describing what was going on. And what we found out by doing value stream mapping and seeing how teams needed to coordinate, we came up with a method on how teams, 1 to 3 teams, 5 teams, could coordinate with each other by seeing the mismatch of when they were working independently. That's also written up as a case study. I'll put that in too. And so I've seen really value with value stream mapping. So I got really turned on to it from like that 2006, 2007 episode for about another 4 or 5 years. And then what I started noticing as Agile went to scale, the mapping got less and less good. And the reason was people wouldn't commit to it. They wouldn't commit to the time it took. They wouldn't commit to the number of people that had to be involved. And another insidious thing was when we'd get to the team, they would say, oh, we're doing Scrum. There are no delays at all. We're great. And I knew that wasn't true just from experience. But when I would talk to the teams, I found that it wasn't true at all. So for about 4 years, I went with 4 or 5 years, I went with, well, I'm just not going to do it. It wasn't very useful. It was easier to talk to people. And then, but I always I knew I'd lost this tool in my arsenal that was really good. And I got this idea in an open space. Well, you know what? What if I just interact with people and we build what they should be doing and talk about what is happening, and we describe it by doing a generic or idealized value stream, not the ideal value stream. There's an important difference. I'm not saying this is the ideal, this best. I'm saying this is an idealized. This is what could be done from a conceptual point of view. And I tried it at the San Diego Open Space, actually. I figured open space, you tell them what you're doing, you can get away with anything, as long as it's legal. So I tried it, and I set a whole day up for it. I had an introduction to it, and then I did another session. And it worked brilliantly. And this is the general way of what it is and how to do it, is you get a really long board and you start talking about the beginning of the value stream, strategies, product management, or PMO, product management. And you go through the different steps. It's not a waterfall, but you know what I mean. There are different stages that you do agilely in small bits with feedback and all that. And I wrote this up on the board, each step. And then at each step, I would say, well, how are you doing? You doing this well? Are you doing prioritization or sequencing of the work? Are you coordinating teams well? And I just went through, and there are about 20 things through this whole thing. And that's what I call the idealized value stream. And perhaps surprisingly, but I've demonstrated, I've done this dozens of times now, people get it. They understand what they should be doing. They don't understand how to do it. but they understand how one step, like product management needs to talk to product ownership, needs to talk to the teams, need to have planning, things like that. So these different facets of Agile at scale, they understand that they should be doing it. You're not trying to teach them how to do it. That's the key point. We're still mapping, but we're doing it in a way that they can easily see what's going on at a conceptual level. And then what you do is you use these challenges to step back and say, well, these are the areas we need to focus on. And I consider it a kind of Pareto analysis. It's not perfect, but it'll get you very quickly. I mean, in an hour or two, it'll get you very quickly to see where you need to do more analysis, and much of the area is covered. So it does about an 80% job. That's why I call it a Pareto analysis. So anyway, that's the idealized value stream. That's what I do now. That's actually incorporated into the Disciplined Agile Value Stream Consulting Workshop. And it's why that's partly so effective, is you get a really quick, easy way of doing things. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right, the idealized value stream. If you have any questions or anything else, please post on LinkedIn. And if not, we'll see you on our next 5-minute short.